What's going on, Fortnite fans? My name is Clumsy Noname, and in this video I'm going to be telling you why I think Season 8 is the best season in Fortnite history. Of course, you guys are allowed to have your own opinions about this, but I'm going to go over why I think this. Keep in mind that this is coming from someone who has played every Fortnite season since Season 2, including Season 2. Before going any further, I didn't have any footage of Season 8, so all the gameplay is from Jamar Gaming, link in description. Without any further ado, let's jump into the first reason why. To start this off, let's talk about the map. At the beginning of the season, the whole top right part of the map turned into a jungle. It sadly replaced Wailing Woods, which is one of the bad parts about this season, but they replaced it with a giant raging volcano. Another part of the map is Sunny Steps. This location had no loot and overall was very hard to navigate. Overall, besides that, the map was great. We had Lazy Lagoon, we had bowler hideouts, more about bowlers later on, and we had a dig site thingy thing. The block also got moved from its previous location near Wailing over to where the motel used to be. Moment of silence for the motel. Anyway, let's get a little more in depth with some of these locations. As much as I loved Wailing Woods, the volcano was a great replacement to it. It didn't have much loot, so you probably shouldn't land there, but it was a great spot to rotate over to after looting so you could get to circle or etc. Again, it really reminds me of Steamy Stacks, but in my opinion a bit cooler because, you know, what is more cool, a volcano or capitalism? Then we have Sunny Steps. This location was garbage and I wish it didn't exist. One of the worst parts about this season. It had almost no loot at all and it was just overall hard to navigate. Sort of reminds me of Coral Castle, to be honest. Fortnite removed Coral Castle. Next up, we have Lazy Lagoon. This was a great addition to the game. Sadly, it replaced Lazy Links, which a lot of people liked, including myself, but Lazy Lagoon was still very cool. It was a giant pirate ship and it had a small pirate camp near it. It also was protected by all the jungle around it, so it was a pretty safe location. The only bad part was the fact that it was built into a cliff, so if you had a bad zone, you could easily die there, but that's your fault. Now that was all the named locations, so next let's talk about ballers. Ballers were very mixed in the community, just like planes were in Season 7, but also like planes, I love ballers a lot. They are genuinely one of my favorite vehicles in a game ever, not even just Fortnite. It's essentially a giant hamster ball with a grappling hook on the front, and there was no way to damage anyone with one, so I don't know why the community didn't like it. It was pretty much only mobility. I think the main people complaining were the competitive players, and let's be real, they complain about almost everything that's added to Fortnite nowadays, so I don't listen to them anymore. On the topic of vehicles, they also added cannons. These were similar to shopping carts, but could actually shoot cannonballs or yourself out of them like a cannonball, which was another great way of mobility. Overall, they weren't the greatest weapon-wise, but they were a fun addition to the game. Now let's talk about the loot pool a bit. The loot pool is very similar to most loot pools except for a few mixed up changes. First of all, the flintlock was added. This has recently returned to Fortnite actually, which is good because it's a great weapon. It knocks you back when you use it and it does about 90 damage depending on the rarity. Besides flintlocks, we also had treasure maps. These weren't guns on their own, but if you followed the treasure map, it would lead you to buried treasure, which contained a chug jug, scar, and pump. All of them gold. This was great because it wasn't so rare that nobody had them, but they didn't show up too often that everybody had them. Now let's talk about the best weapon, the boom bow. This is my second favorite item in all of Fortnite besides the revolver. It's similar to a sniper, more specifically a hunting rifle, except it explodes on impact. I love this weapon, and the last time we saw it return was as a mythic in Chapter 2 Season 2 at the rig. Sadly, unlike last video, I don't have any stats to show for this season on screen because I didn't use Fortnite Tracker much back then, but I can tell you about my first high kill game which happened in this season. I landed Viking Village and the circle went all the way over to the volcano, and during that time I got 13 kills. And I actually would not beat that personal kill record until Chapter 2 Season 2 and my Risky Reels 100 drops. Another great thing about this season was its event. The event, unlike last season which sucked, was the unvaulting. We got into the vault and got to unvault a singular item. The community picked drum gun, I was voting the TAC SMG, but I digress. And then after we left the vault, we got launched into the air and the volcano erupted. It blew up Retail Row, Tilted Towers, and Polar Peak. The blow to Polar Peak would eventually lead to the Season 9 event, but that's for a later video. And the blow up of Tilted Towers was so insane at the time because in almost every single event it was speculated that Tilted would get hit, and this was the first season that it actually did. Overall, this video had no real point. I just wanted to come on and share my opinions about my favorite Fortnite season and talk about what went on in it. I actually made this video because a while back I made one about Season 7 and why it was one of the greatest, and this was my favorite Fortnite season, so I figured I'd make one about this one too. Well yeah, and I also think I didn't mention this, but today is the 2-year anniversary, at least the day of release, of Fortnite Season 8. Again, shout out to Jamar Gaming for the footage and stuff, really appreciate it. So yeah, like the video if you want to see my opinions about Season 9 or something. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.